Hello everybody, welcome back to JC Model Creations. And before we begin, I wanted to say a quick thank you. We reached the 500 subscriber mark several weeks ago. After our last video, and I am so grateful to all of you. Thank you to my subscribers. Just a quick shout out to you. And all of you who are watching, thank you for your likes, and we just appreciate it. It's just helping us and it's helping this channel. So today we're going to continue the build of the 1350 Star Trek Enterprise Refit from Star Trek The Motion Picture using our Polar Lights kit, and we're going to discuss how to install the Shuttlebay and all the issues around that installation. And I'm also going to be demonstrating some of the build's lighting and wiring and really going into detail on how I did that. So we're gonna have a great time here. And so without further ado, let's get going. All right, so I'm letting this Shuttlebay dry up. I had actually removed the top because I was having so many issues installing it into the secondary hull that I thought, well, maybe if I remove the top, but that still didn't work. So I'm re-cementing the top back on, and I had already installed some blue lighting here on both the top of the Shuttlebay elevators and the bottom of the Shuttlebay elevators. You need to do that if you're going to light them up. One set is not enough. You'll have more light at the bottom than you will at the top, or more light at the top than you will at the bottom. So these are very, very small LEDs that I purchased off of eBay. I'll leave the link. I'll leave the link in the description for you. But they are lit up right now. I have them turned on, and if you can kind of see at the very back, let me turn this light off for you. There you go. They are lit up back there, and I think they look rather nice. And once the Shuttlebay is fully lit, obviously you're going to see more of the Shuttlebay. Right now it's dark because the lights are off from the top and all that, but this is really going to look nice, I think. And then of course, like I said, the bottom is going to be lit up. Let me do that for you. You can see the effect on the bottom here. So I take the light off, put the light on. The stripes, the yellow stripes kind of light up when you turn it on. I really like that. So we're gonna hopefully finish this up pretty soon, but I just wanted to show you that. And then I will install it into the secondary hull, and we'll show you a wrap up of that once that's finished. So something else to show you on this Shuttlebay, I just realized this, is the way the wiring. I connected all the wires on the very back. I'm using some electric tape to kind of hold them together here where they all meet, and hold them together over here. And of course I have the red and the black power wires all together, but separate, black separate from red. That way when it comes out the front, I know which to link up to power there. So that's the way this is set up. And now on to the next part, where we will show you the installation. Okay, let's talk issues with the Shuttlebay, Arboretum, and the secondary hull. Whew, it's been a journey. I've asked around a Facebook group I'm part of, private group, and then I've watched a few videos on YouTube, and this has been a crazy journey, my friends. Here's the bottom line. I just want to tell you up front, if you're going to build the 1350 scale Enterprise, the easiest way to get the Shuttlebay into the secondary hull is to follow the directions and put it in before you do the side panels for the secondary hull. So as you can see here, this has you building the saucer first, the neck second, deflector dish housing third, and then it has you putting the arboretum in fourth, and the back of the bay fifth. And look at this. This is the actual shuttle bay. Has you doing this before number 7, A and B, which is the side paneling and the top of the saucer section. I ended up reversing that, putting in the side panels in first, because I wanted to make sure to get the photo etch part in for the arboretum windows. And I should have probably waited on these side panels and got all of this in first. As a result, let me tell you what happened. I completed the shuttle bay. I even wired in some blue lighting for the elevator pillars on the inside, and they're lit up. They can light up really nice on the inside, and of course all the other light will come in from the top here. It's going to look really nice. But what's happening here is when I put in the arboretum, it really is hard to push this in from the front. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, but what I did here is I cut off the little pillar, vertical pillar here that was in the very front. I'd initially put it on and glued everything in, and then I realized, oh, I don't need to do that. So I cut it off, and my plan is to, once everything's in, put it back on, although we'll see if I do that or not. I'm keeping this piece so I can do that if I need to. But I cut this off so I can put the shuttle bay in from the front, right? Because I heard it was really easy, no problem sliding it in. Well, when you put in the arboretum and try to slide it in, let me show you what happens here. I'm going to kind of dry fit this for you, all right? So let's see here. All right, this is flush into the pins. Okay, and by the way, I cut the pin off over here in the back as well. All right, that's flush there. Now look at this, my friends. It is stuck at the bottom against the arboretum. So you've got to kind of manipulate it a little bit. And then what ends up happening is the angle, if you look at the angle, it's this way instead of straight because of this horizontal pinning here and the arboretum at the bottom. And that's going to conflict with the pinning right here because your shuttle bay is going right for under that. So you have to kind of force it to come straight so you can push it back. And when it does that, the pin here kind of separated on me, and it expanded this area here, and it just snapped right back. Now, fortunately, there's no marks on the sides or anything like that. I dry fit it, and it worked. And by the way, I don't remember if I mentioned this to you, but I ended up cutting off the pins right here at the back, just the top of those pins. I cut both of those off because if you don't do that, the shuttle bay will not sit flush at the back. So you really have to chop off these pins at the very back. And by the way, as we're kind of touring the secondary hull, as you see, I did some light strips here, and I did a little LED right there. And I connected this LED to the side strip here. And then I connected these strip of lights to this side strip here. And I did that because the way I set this up is the striping on the shuttle bay is transparent, or this is the actual plastic from the model that you're looking at. The back of it is yellow, so what's going to happen is the light from the LED is going to glow through this and light up this landing strip, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Okay. So the other thing I did on the secondary hull, FYI, is I went ahead and put a little 5mm LED right here at the bottom, right there. and that 5 millimeter LED is going to actually flash. It's going to strobe flash. I mentioned I wasn't sure if it was going to do it. I looked, and it is a strobe flash, so that's gonna happen there. As far as the arboreum, I did something that I don't know how this is going to work out or not, but I went ahead and instead of putting windows against this area, I went ahead and got some windows and just glued some plastic using canopy glue. All right. I glued some plastic against the arboreum here so that I don't have to mess with those windows, and I'll just install it and there'll be windows there. Got to clean it up a little bit. Looks like there's some spotting from the canopy glue, but I went ahead and did that, and you know, it lights up okay. There's no problem with the lighting. You'll see right through that, and it's going to look pretty cool. All right. Let's move on. And I just wanted to point out some of these little issues that I came across, and let's go ahead and start the process of putting all this together. So I've got my backlighting set up. I've got the strobe light there. I've got my side lighting here, and everything connects to these two strips, these two wires here, except for this one. The strobe lighting is on its own. So once these two wires are connected, they will light everything else up in the back, and the strobe, of course, will be connected to the board that's already in the saucer right now, and the wires from the saucer have all been labeled, so I know that I'll be connecting this to the strobe lighting. All right, so let's go ahead and start the process of getting all this installed. Okay, here we go, everybody. I'm going to show you the process of putting this in and how difficult it is. So again, I have the arboreum in. As you can see, it's been glued in. This is a complete Shuttlebay. Let's slide this right in. So I've taken the pin off. Here we go. I've got to angle it first. Okay, and angle it again, and here you go. You hear that clicking sound. That's this thing clicking, popping, because of the fact that this thing doesn't completely fit. So I'm sliding it through. I made sure that this stays on top here. This, as you can see, has opened up, and instead of being straight, it's opened up like this. And I'm gonna continue here. There we go. Now it flipped back, and we're in. And as you can see in the very back, as long as you push this in, it's a snug fit. Boom, right there, snug fit. Cool. Now I'm gonna kind of pop it out slightly, glue it in back here, add some glue in certain points back in, in the area at the bottom. But the Shuttlebay has been entered. There are no cracking lines anywhere. Looks good, looks good. Even back here looks all right. This is the only thing that popped open. So then we'll fix that as soon as we can. All right, on to the next section. Okay, my friends, before I close this up, I want to show you what I've done and let you know how it's going. And it's been quite a struggle. And as you know, anyone who takes on this particular build for this particular ship, you're in for a big challenge. This is definitely not this, and especially, of course, if you're lighting it. Now, putting it together is a challenge in itself, right? Because you've got to make some adjustments on the fit and things like that. But lighting it up just amps up everything 1,000%, because you've got to figure out where the wires are going. And if you're using your own custom lighting, you're not, there's lighting kits out there, but I have a lot of wires and the LEDs here at home, so I didn't want to go out and spend another $200, $300, $400 on a lighting system, So that being said, the Shuttlebay is in. I realized that the lighting was a little too bright, so I went ahead and used some clear blue. Again, this AK clear blue here. And what I did with this is I just splotted it on the top of these, and it doesn't matter because this is going to be covered up. So I didn't care about making it look pretty. It looks beautiful on the inside when it's all lit up. And to let you know how I'm doing this, so I kind of showed you in the other video, but let me just kind of review here. The lighting from the top down is on the top of this. So let's move this out of the way. It's on this top half or top portion of the secondary hull. So you've got a strip of LED lighting right here. I've got I think this is a 3mm LED that I connected to the strip lighting right here, and the wires are coming out. I do have two 5mm, I believe, LEDs popping out here, and I made sure that I tested this to show you what that looks like. The light pops out of here and comes onto the pylons. I did a lot of testing to make sure I had it just the way I wanted it. It's not totally perfect like in the movie, but let me show you. I think it'll do the job once this whole thing is up and running. Here's how this looks. So you can kind of see, hopefully in the video, not sure if you can, but it's kind of hard to see it from the video here. Anyway, this is being lit up. It's lighting up the pylons. Sorry about the lighting on this, because of this at the bottom kind of washes out the video, but there's light coming up here and there's light going up there. And same thing for, let me turn this off. Same thing for the secondary hull pylons on this end here. I went ahead and hooked those up, and you can see that we have wires going through the pylons. I went ahead and made a very small little notch here so that the wires would fit right through here using my Dremel. And I used the Dremel bit that looks like a little, it's a drilling bit, and it looks like a little ball on top of the bit there. Not sure if you can see that, but I used that little bit to make a little alley or little notch there so that the wires can kind of go through. And then I, of course, glued down the wires here and through here, and of course all the way around the very top edge. I wanted to make sure that these wires are glued down so that they don't fall and block the windows. So that's kind of the way they're glued down there. I also, if you notice, there's another wire that's kind of glued down right here, right below the window, right there. So one on top of the window, one below the window. The one below the window is the spotlight that comes into the onto the pylons on the outside that pops out through this one right here. So this is glued down right here this way, and then of course the wires that go into the pylons that are going to come out into the nacelles are glued down above this pillar and above that window. Obviously, all the like I said in the previous video, I've got wires on the top of the Shuttlebay for the elevators on the top and the bottom, and those are coming out here, and they're all wired up together. And then of course you've got your strip lighting for all the windows on the side here that are wired up. And I've got a little LED that's right behind this that'll be blinking, or sorry, not blinking, it'll be stationary, but that's wired up to the, I went ahead and soldered that to the corners of the strip light that's on the side of the secondary hull. And I did a little strip of LEDs here on the bottom, and I connected that to the strip of secondary lighting on the secondary hull that's on this side. And I did that because I wanted to light up the Shuttlebay stripe in the yellow. Now, unfortunately, this stripe here is only going to be lit up yellow on the inside. Out here, it's not, the light's not bright enough to shine through the yellow on this. So for those of you who are doing this, you may want to just spray the yellow on the outside here, and instead of underneath this Shuttlebay floor, you know, or there should be another way to light this whole thing up. I just didn't have enough room to add any more lighting. I already had an LED here, another strip here, and it was just a really small space, and I didn't have the supplies to find more lighting to put there. So I just said, forget it, let me just put this in. So got those lights there. Of course, the light from the top half of this secondary hull here will light up these red landing bay, Shuttlebay windows or lights here. And of course, the blue is lit up here by the strip lights and all the lighting on the inside. And I will say this, that my little technique of putting the windows on the shuttle, on the arboretum instead of on the actual hull, I like the effect. I mean, when you're looking at it here, you can tell, but from far away, I mean, those windows are really clear, and it just came out a lot better. So I believe all the wiring for all the lighting is done. I've tested this thing so many times. I've connected wires and disconnected wires and connected them just to test all the connections and the wiring and the lighting. So I'm ready to basically put this down and lock it in and glue it on. Now, I will have some issues with that. As you can see, I went ahead and put the pylon halves where they belong, and then I had to go through, and these pylons were not light blocked or anything or painted. So you probably don't need to light block the inside, but I went ahead and did this black only instead of black and white like I usually do, because I didn't want it to be like see-through when it's lit up from the other side. You know what I mean? Wanted to make sure there's a good layer of paint on the inside, and I did the gray primer on the outside on both sides, and I did that, and then I glued them on, and then I realized, well, I need to paint it again. I actually glued this one on before I did the gray primer, so I'm going to paint this again. Don't worry about the way it looks right now. I'll definitely be painting that again, but I do want to show you that when I put this thing on, there is a gap that I'm going to need to make sure that it glues down really, really solid and really well. And I think some of that is because of the way I put in this Shuttlebay. The Shuttlebay's really been giving me problems, but it does the top half does fit okay. You can see how round this is here. It does fit okay there. It just, when I get to the sides, you can see the lip coming out right here on the side. I don't know how well you can see that on the video. So I really have to make sure that this is like lined up right. Here, there it goes. It went through. And then of course in the back here, you see how this flips open. I really need to make sure that this goes down right and smooth and all that. So this is going to be a challenge. I'm going to need to glue it in place, and then I'm going to need to use, what I'm planning to do is just basically use masking tape to kind of hold it down while it's drying up. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some masking tape, I'm going to glue it down, and then I'm going to just put it down as tight as I can, make sure that this is all not, it's not popping up any, and then I'll just put masking tape on it as much as I can to make sure this stays down while it's drying. And of course, I'll use large strips of tape and really put it down really, really tight because you definitely want to make sure that it glues down correctly. So just right here, as you see, as I put this masking tape, it does feel like it's down tight on this side, but this side is open, so I have to put tape on this side. And definitely over here on the front, you can see it kind of opened up again because I've taped this down. So the bottom line is the top half feels like it's got to be, it feels like it's got to be taped down like this and pushed down. So right the middle, it's not going down straight, if that makes sense. I'm having to push it from both sides, the back and the front, to make sure it fits correctly. And so I am tempted to shave off some more plastic in the middle here. I don't know if, you know, doing that will kind of help alleviate the middle piece here, because I feel like what's happening is right around here, you have something going on, and I don't know if it's maybe these pieces here, or maybe it's even this. I'm not quite sure what's causing this part to kind of pop up. So I'm gonna, before I glue it down, I'm gonna do some more testing on that and see if there's an issue that I can figure out on that. And by the way, as I'm looking at this, I just realized that I didn't mention that I did cut a little notch here to get the wires through. And of course, here's where your other wires from the saucer section are gonna come through. But this notch, all I ended up doing was using the sprue clippers, and I just grabbed a piece here and a piece there, made a little V shape and cut it out. And this little piece just popped out. I don't know where it's at. It flew somewhere. But that allowed me to get these in through here. And then of course I glued down the wires right here and right here, just to make sure that they kind of stay in place and don't flop around inside. All right, so that's where we're at with the secondary hull so far. Let's go ahead and finish this section, and I'll be right back. Okay, my friends, let me just kind of tell you what's going on here. This secondary hull was prepped, ready to go. I locked it in. I started putting putty around the edges for the light block and all that. So I was kind of light testing it, making sure everything worked, when I noticed that right here on this window, there was some obstruction inside, and I thought it was glue. So I went ahead and I grabbed my filing needle, stuck it in there, and started filing away to get the glue out of there so that the light would come through. Unfortunately, what happened was, it wasn't just glue, it was this light strip, and it cut right through some of the wiring, the internal wiring of the light strip, and it just turned off. And when that turned off, this whole side shut down, and I've got it hooked up to the landing gear, and that shut down the landing strip here. And I was already locked in with everything, and it was just the worst feeling ever. I considered what to do. I wanted to keep everything intact and try to go in this way, but that light strip goes so far back, and then the connection to this light in the back is down here that, you know, I was like, oh, this is just the worst. So thank the Lord, I was able to start pulling on it, and it easily came off right here from the front. The top of this secondary hull easily came off. Then I started using my X-Acto knife, and I took all this, I cut through all the putty and on these areas, and then I was able to actually separate from the top. I was able to separate the pylons on both ends, and I started working my way down slowly and carefully. And I'm glad to say right now that everything looks intact. I was able to open this top again, and I ended up starting to pull the strip. I was able to actually pull the strip off by grabbing the wires and just continuing to pull it all the way back. I was about to start working on taking this part apart so I can just totally replace the strip when I realized, oh, wait a minute, I can just cut the strip. So I cut it here, and I'm going to solder another little strip to this strip and put it back down again, and test it that way, and then reglue it on to the inside. So I just want you to know this has put me back 2-3 days because I spent a day or two just kind of staying away from the project out of frustration, not knowing what to do next. All right, so just a little update there, and I think what I'll do is I'll end the video here, and next time I come back, I'll show you the completed piece lit up. And again, just for clarification, I just want to make sure you're aware of what I'm doing is I'm grabbing this existing strip. I'm going to cut some wire pretty short, and I'm going to connect like really short wire from here to the next strip. And let me kind of come closer for you to see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to cut some really short wire from this to the next strip, and the next strip is just going to be a section, right? So it's going to be about that long right there from here to here, and it'll complete everything, and I'll put it right back down and make sure that the back works, and then we'll lock it in and we'll close it up again. And hopefully the next time you see this thing, the intention is to have it all glued together, have all the putty gaps, light leaks sealed up, and then hopefully painted with an extra layer of primer. I've been scratching up the primer on this and with the putty and everything, so we'll do that. And we're also going to add the photo etch pieces for these little shuttle doors here on both sides, and then we'll continue from there. I mean, I've got to smooth out, the putty and all that. So you're going to go through that, my friends. You're going to have times like this where your model is not going to work right, or should I say something wrong is going to happen. So you just got to have some patience, walk away from it if you have to, and rethink what you got to do. All right. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.